Imagine a scenario where every penny you save is quietly locking you into a trap and you're completely unaware of it until it's too late. What if the secret to building real wealth isn't hoarding cash, but knowing precisely when saving money stops making sense? Let's dive into the subtle shift that turns the once revered habit of saving into a potential wealth trap and uncover when you might need to rethink your strategy. For decades, we've been taught that saving money is the cornerstone of financial security. You work hard, stashed away a portion of your income, and over time, you'll build a portfolio that protects you from unforeseen crises. But here's a twist. There comes a point when the very act of saving, the habit that once fueled your financial dream, begins to work against you rather than for you. In our conversation today, we'll peel back the layers behind this phenomenon. We'll explore the moment when the effort you put into saving doesn't translate into the kind of growth you need. Along the way, we'll examine why clinging too tightly to cash might actually limit your ability to generate wealth and how to break free from this counterintuitive cycle. Imagine sitting down with a friend over coffee, discussing not just how to build wealth, but when to let go of a long-held belief that saving is always your best bet. Now let's set the stage. Many of us learned early on that saving is a virtuous act, a simple equation that turns hard work into a secure future. We picture ourselves slowly accumulating a safety net, preparing for emergencies or the golden day of retirement. And yet, as you build that safety net, you might find that your money isn't growing nearly as fast as you'd hoped. It can feel like pouring water into a leaky bucket. You may remember hearing that money saved is money earned. But if you factor in inflation, taxes, and missed opportunities, this adage might need a second look. Consider the psychology behind saving. For a long time, saving gave people a sense of control and security. It was a tangible proof of discipline and a buffer against uncertainty. But here's the catch. When you hold onto your money without putting it to work, you risk letting inflation slowly erode its value. Inflation is that invisible force which makes $1 today worth less tomorrow. In a sense, and your savings might be shrinking even as you add to them. So how do you know when saving ceases to be beneficial and instead becomes a trap that hinders your financial progress? Let's start with a fundamental question. When is saving enough? For most people, the process begins with building an emergency fund, a sum that covers 3 to 6 months of living expenses. This fund is your financial parachute, meant to provide comfort during turbulent times. However, once you've reached that threshold, any additional savings require a new mindset. Continuing to funnel every extra dollar into a low interest savings account might protect you, but it could also mean you miss out on opportunities for growth. Think of it like watering a plant that no longer needs constant care. It could be time to let that plant bear fruit in a richer, more fertile environment. Now, I want you to envision real life examples. Imagine two friends, Alex and Jamie. Alex diligently saves every paycheck, placing money in a traditional savings account with minimal returns, convinced that safety is the core of financial success. Meanwhile, Jamie does the same initial work, building an emergency fund and maintaining disciplined saving habits, but then pivots to investing in diversified assets like stocks, bonds, or real estate. Over time, Jamie's wealth grows at a rate that far outpaces Alex's, thanks to the power of compound growth and smart asset allocation. This isn't to say that saving is inherently wrong. It's about understanding that after a certain point, not all money is created equal. This message has a contrarian twist. Contrary to what many financial gurus preach, hoarding cash isn't always the wisest move. The myth of saving is not that saving and investing are bad. It's that saving, when practiced compulsively without strategy, can lead you into a wealth trap. In essence, the habit of saving can become a self-imposed barrier to experiencing the full potential of your money. It's as if you have constructed a safety cell around your finances that inadvertently blocks the channels of wealth creation. Let's break down some key factors that signal it might be time to move on from traditional saving strategies. First, consider the rate of return. If the interest you earn on your savings barely keeps up with inflation, then your money is effectively losing power over time. It's a situation akin to running on a treadmill. You're exerting effort, but you're not really moving forward. While a safe savings account is ideal during uncertain times, in a long-term perspective, you should be asking yourself if there's a better way to deploy your resources. Second, think about opportunity costs. Every dollar sitting idly in a savings account is a dollar not invested in opportunities that could yield higher returns. This isn't just theory, it's the cornerstone of many investment strategies that advocate for portfolio diversification. The idea is simple. Diversify your assets so that you're not overly reliant on cash, which can be affected by economic downturns or inflationary trends. Diversification helps you tap into different growth engines within the economy. You might be wondering, how do I know when I've hit that tipping point? One useful indicator is the size of your emergency fund relative to your overall net worth. If you have an emergency fund that covers your essentials and you're left with funds that could be allocated elsewhere, it might be time to explore investment opportunities. Another sign is that you're starting to feel stagnant, like your money is stuck rather than growing. Sometimes the sheer inertia of watching your savings account balance rise is comforting, even if it's not propelling you towards your ultimate financial goals. One of the most important aspects of navigating this wealth trap is understanding risk versus reward. Traditional savings are risk averse. They safeguard your money but offer little reward. Investments by their nature carry risk, but they also come with the potential for much higher returns. It's about finding a balance that suits your goals and risk tolerance. For instance, once you have that robust emergency fund, you can afford to take calculated risks that might boost your overall wealth. The key is to be intentional rather than reactive. In many ways, this concept is reminiscent of the transition in relationships. Early on, you might cling to every little detail in a new romance, but as the relationship matures, you shift your focus from secure routine habits to nurturing a dynamic, evolving connection. Similarly, your financial journey evolves from the discipline of saving to the art of investing. And just like relationships, it takes time, careful thought, and sometimes a leap of faith to make that transition. Let's consider the global economic environment. In today's interconnected world, traditional avenues of saving may not be enough to keep pace with rapid economic changes. Markets are volatile and unpredictable, but they also offer opportunities that a savings account simply can't match. For example, consider emerging markets or the tech sector. Both areas have historically shown exponential growth that far outstrips the modest interest rates offered by banks. Even in more developed economies, the interplay of interest rates, fiscal policy, and inflation means that a static pile of cash can often lose ground if not managed actively. Now, let's step into the realm of behavior. Many people hold on to the notion that saving is a moral imperative, a sign of prudence and honor. This often leads to the accumulation of wealth that, when left unchecked, becomes symbolic rather than functional. It turns into a sort of financial armor and making you feel secure, but simultaneously preventing you from engaging with the world of wealth creation. In doing so, you might miss out on experiences that enrich your life, whether it's traveling, education, or simply seizing an opportunity when it knocks. Have you ever wondered why some incredibly wealthy individuals don't rely solely on saving to build their fortunes? They understand that while saving might keep you afloat, it's the investment of your capital that truly allows your wealth to multiply. The trick lies in recognizing that saving should serve as a foundation, a stepping stone to more dynamic and fruitful financial endeavors. If you're only saving, you might inadvertently be tying yourself to a slower, less impactful way of growing your assets, while the world of investments beckons with the promise of exponential gains. Speaking of exponential gains, let's talk about compound interest, the silent multiplier that turns small, smart investments into substantial wealth over time. Albert Einstein famously called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And that's exactly why a surgeon's precision in investing, after securing an appropriate safety net, can lead to life-changing outcomes. It's the difference between slowly trickling down fruits from a diminishing tree and being handed a bountiful harvest because you planted the seeds in fertile soil. But there's a twist here, a potential pitfall. While investments can indeed multiply your money, the market's inherent volatility means there's also risk of losses. It's much like trying a bold new recipe. Sometimes the ingredients come together perfectly, and other times you end up with a dish that falls flat. The trick is to balance confidence with caution. You must assess each opportunity carefully, knowing that diversification is your friend. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, both to avoid the wealth trap and to reap the benefits of compounding growth. I know that all of this might feel a bit overwhelming at first. It's not easy to break away from habits that have been drilled into us for years. We are conditioned to view a growing savings account as the hallmark of success. But if you're sitting there and thinking, is it time to change my financial strategy? Then you're already one step ahead. The evolution from saving to investing is not a rejection of prudence. Rather, it is an embrace of opportunity. It's about acknowledging that while saving is essential, it's not the be-all and end-all of financial wisdom. So, how can you start making this critical transition? First, conduct an honest review of your financial goals. Ask yourself, do you have a clear, prioritized set of objectives that go beyond mere survival? Perhaps you're dreaming of early retirement, a dream home, global travel, or even launching your own business. In each case, you'll need your money to work harder for you, not just sit idly while inflation nibbles at its value. This requires stepping up from a passive saver to an active investor. One actionable step is to evaluate your asset allocation. If you find that a disproportionate amount of your portfolio is tied up in low yield savings accounts, it might be time to explore alternatives. Research suggests that over the long term, equities, real estate, and even certain bonds have historically outperformed standard savings accounts. Begin by educating yourself on the basics of investing. There are plenty of reliable resources, from online courses to books penned by seasoned investors, that can help demystify the world of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Next, consider your risk tolerance. It's essential to balance the potential for higher returns with the comfort of knowing that you have a safety net. For instance, you might decide on a strategy that blends traditional saving with diverse investments. This way, you're not completely discarding the comfort of cash, but you're also taking steps to ensure that your money isn't trapped in an inert account. I've seen time and again that a well-rounded financial plan involves a mix of strategies. It might involve having a portion of your money in a high-yield savings account to cover emergencies, while simultaneously funneling other funds into diversified investment vehicles. In doing so, you're effectively hedging your bets. It's like building a home with both a sturdy foundation and flexible, smart architecture that can adapt to changing circumstances. Let's address a common concern. What if I make a mistake and lose money by investing? It's a valid worry, and one that every investor faces at some point. However, it's important to distinguish between calculated risks and reckless gambles. Investing isn't about chasing overnight success. It's about steady, informed growth. Equipping yourself with knowledge, diversifying your portfolio, and keeping a long-term perspective are key habits that can help mitigate risks. Remember, failing to invest in your future can sometimes be more dangerous than a few missteps along the way. Now imagine you're attending a seminar where a respected financial expert shares insights about the importance of balancing your wealth building journey. He explains that while saving provides immediate comfort, it doesn't facilitate the kind of exponential growth necessary to secure long-term prosperity. Instead, he suggests treating your emergency fund and active investments as two sides of the same coin, each playing its part in your overall strategy. This approach not only preserves your capital, but also ensures that you're positioned to take advantage of future opportunities. Let's talk numbers for a moment. Suppose you have $50,000 saved in a traditional bank account, earning a modest interest rate of around 1%. Over the course of 20 years, if inflation averages 2 to 3% per year, your money's purchasing power could be significantly diminished. On the other hand, if you allocate a portion of that money into a well-diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds, you might achieve an average annual return of 6 to 8%, and that difference compounds dramatically over time. This isn't merely hypothetical, it's a mathematical reality that underscores why traditional saving alone might not be enough. It's crucial to underscore that we're not advocating recklessness. In fact, refinancing the way you manage money should be a deliberate, well-informed decision. Just as you wouldn't suddenly abandon a trusted friend without understanding the consequences, you shouldn't abruptly shift decades of saving habits without careful planning. Instead, start by slowly reallocating funds as you build your confidence and financial literacy. This gradual transition can help your investments grow while still maintaining a safety cushion for unexpected events. One powerful takeaway from all of this is the need to constantly reassess your financial strategy. Life changes, and so do economic conditions. What worked brilliantly for you in your 20s might not be the best approach in your 40s or 50s. As you progress through different stages of life, it's important to ask yourself, is my current strategy still aligned with my long-term objectives? This reflective mindset is key to avoiding the trap of complacency, a trap that often ensnares even the most diligent savers over time. I'm sure you've encountered plenty of financial advice online, some of it contradictory, some of it overly simplistic. While saving money has its merits, it's equally important to recognize when that strategy might start to hold you back. Success in personal finance isn't just about what you do, it's about when you do it and how appropriately you adjust your approach to the changing financial landscape. That's the nuance that often gets overlooked. Let's revisit a familiar analogy. Imagine you're an athlete training for a race. In the early stages of your training, every mile logged is essential. It's the foundation on which you'll build endurance and speed. But once you've reached a certain level, simply running in circles isn't going to help you break records. Instead, you need to incorporate sprints, agility drills, and strategic rest periods to truly excel. In much the same way, your financial journey requires different tools at different stages. While saving is indispensable in the early game, investing and strategic asset allocation propel you towards extraordinary wins later on. To wrap things up, here are a few practical steps for rethinking your financial strategy. First, solidify your emergency fund so that you have a secure baseline. This fund should comfortably cover several months of living expenses, providing you with peace of mind when times get turbulent. Second, educate yourself about the various investment options available. Explore avenues that align with your risk tolerance, time horizon, and financial goals. Third, assess your current asset allocation. Are you keeping too much in low yield accounts just because it feels safe? If so, consider rebalancing your portfolio to incorporate assets with better growth potential. Fourth, set periodic checkpoints. Just as you would review a work project, regularly evaluate your financial strategy. This not only prevents stagnation, but also ensures that your assets are being optimized as your goals evolve. Remember, the point isn't to discourage saving, it's to highlight that saving without a strategy can create a wealth trap. If you've spent years diligently stashing money away, take a moment today to ask yourself, what is my money really doing for me? It's one thing to feel secure with a healthy savings balance, and it's quite another to watch that money remain static while the world around you speeds ahead.